All right, TB Joshua. TB Joshua. We've been covering TB Joshua from the inception of this breaking out story. TB Joshua, Ajoke'S adoption and departure from Scoan in video. I'm going to play a short video. Let's hear the voice of Prophet TB Joshua himself talking about Ajoke, and then we'll talk about it for a few minutes. Speaking of insecurity, abandoned babies, adoptions, all these stuff are getting connected. They're the same problems at the core, but of course, Christianity or Christians, Nigerian Christianity, to be precise, might have a different opinion. Um, they probably can back up spiritually. But let's talk about this. I'm gonna play this short video. We'll be back.
I think I will begin to introduce the Ajoke here to you. Ajoke, stand up. So that you can come together, see what you can do, your prayer, and help, okay? With little way. Before now, I thought it's a thing that I can call her in the office, and I think there's need. It's such a surprise thing. I know many of you might have known. She has that, what we call, influence on the people. And it doesn't influence little people, BB people that matter.
All right. So anyway, let me bring us up to speed really quickly, so that we don't spend too much time on that. Ajoke, it was one of the witnesses. I don't know, should we call her witness on the BBC special? And she was introduced
Sources.
as.
One of
You
the
said what?
sources. One of the
One of the
sources.
sources. Yes, one of the sources. Yes, she was introduced as TB Joshua's daughter. They never mentioned if it's biological or not. I did watch another submission by one of the sources, Bisola, who said, who alleged that there was a lady that showed up at the synagogue church somewhere around maybe when the baby was 5, 6, 7 years old, and claimed she wanted to see her daughter. Who's your daughter? Ajoke. Ajoke was picked up as 5 months old, apparently, allegedly, around the church premises, and then he decided to adopt her. When you complete that video we're just watching, which you can find out there on YouTube, he admitted to adopting a child. But then we find a lot of Nigerians just arguing on the internet for proof if it's the daughter or not. And in my personal opinion, when you adopt a daughter, that daughter is yours. But some people are asking for DNA, and there's a lot of conversations around that. They're looking. Some people now said, okay, DNA might even implicate his legacy even more. But there's been a lot of drama around this, and there's also the question of what is the proper way to adopt children in Nigeria. Can you just pick up a baby and that baby becomes yours? Is the adoption official? At what point can we even say we're talking about a matter of kidnapping here? Because who gave you a baby? And where's the mother of this child? There were also allegations that there's a possibility. The lady Bisola says she heard something to the effect of maybe he had instructed the security to eliminate the mother because she was some kind of threat to his legacy and his reputation, because he might have been responsible for that lady's pregnancy. So I don't know, what are your thoughts around all of this? Now, some people are saying we should leave this man alone and let him rest in peace.
Mm.
Could it be that simple? Should we just let him rest in peace?
Oh, well. Is it okay to
Go ahead. Yes, you're good to go, sir.
Okay. The legitimate way anybody can choose in adopting a baby in Nigeria is one, and the only, and I think that is just the option that is available to anybody. It is true what is called adoption decree. This process is often supervised by the various Ministry of Social Development, and Women Affairs, depending on what the description or the nomenclature is in each state of the Nigeria Federation. Not minding that Nigeria really does not have true federalism. But I know in Ondo State, you have to approach the Ministry of Women Affairs. There are designated officials and desks where you can always approach them, talk to them, and then they would supervise the process. But the process is never complete until you are taken before a magistrate where you are cross-examined. Whoever wants to give up that child, or how the child was discovered, whether by a motherless babies' homes or people you call social workers or activists in the community. The process is always sacred. It is done with utmost protection. And that judge, the magistrate, goes through the entire process with the stakeholders, trying to know who would adopt, the person that wants to adopt the child, and all that. Once that decree is signed, you come back to inaugurate the people adopting that, oh, they have your child, or this child, there are questions about this. It is always done with the proper legal supervision. If it is not done that way, then you may be falling into a criminal situation that is known as human trafficking, child trafficking, or baby factory situation. For example, I was involved in a situation. Yes, I was involved recently in a situation in which I was alerted because I am a member of the task force for NAPTIP in Ondo State, representing royal institution, representing traditional rulers. I was, I was inducted as a member of that by the NAPTIP in Ondo State through the Ministry of Justice. And somebody approached me that a runs girl, like they say in Nigeria, what do you call runs girls in Nigeria now? Olosho or Aristo?
Something.
That this person was going to throw away a baby that she did not need. I now canceled them out of the situation. I first reported this with NAPTIP officials in Ondo State, and then I led them and introduced them to women affairs officials. But there were other individuals lurking somewhere who were interested in having that baby too. And this was something that led into a direct conflict between me and Babatunde Alufa, that is called Alpha, Sotitobire Church in Nigeria. I had guided the process, even sending money to a professor of medicine to take delivery so that that lady would not throw away that baby. To take delivery of the child, call the necessary people to be involved, only for Sotitobire to get on his pulpit to redeem the situation in which he was in at the time, to tell them that, oh, there is a chief in America that wants a baby. I'm like, I have 5 children. What is this man talking about? I know the process, and thank God I had involved the officials of the ministry. Sotitobire would have scored a PR scoop against an hapless and innocent soul like me. They even got the lady who first alerted me, they got her arrested for doing nothing at all just because they had wanted to make it a secret deal in their church. So if that was what the late TB Joshua was involved in, I would not know. I do not speak to issues I'm not clear about. But in this situation, there is a thin line between being involved in child trafficking and straight adoption deals. People should always look for the legal framework to adopt a child. Now, if it is true that TB Joshua adopted that child and gave her everything to become a reasonable, useful, functional member of the human society, we cannot accuse him of having done anything wrong. But if there are other questions being raised about that process, maybe the government would have to also do more in assuaging and providing useful answers to the curious public about what really transpired. But let
Well,
me also say
here's
this.
yeah.
Let me say
Go
this,
ahead.
Ola,
Go ahead. Yeah. Yeah. Go ahead,
that
sir.
why would anybody say that TB Joshua should be allowed to rest in his grave? You know, it's almost like people saying
It's a
the
man.
evil
It's
that
a man of God. Touch not
man
my
of God
anointed now.
are you,
Yeah.
you and I. So whose men are we? We are not men of Satan too. We are all created of God. If that is if that is what all the Holy Scriptures teach, we all must be treated equal. It does not matter whether you are dead or you are alive. There is always a need to revisit certain things to make sure that society does not, or individuals do not fall into the same mistakes. To be doing same thing over and over. Look at the case of the man Jesu Onyibo, Emmanuel Odumosu of a university generation that I mentioned. People have to practice borders on incest outrightly, and all kinds of evil in the name of cult followership or cult groups. And those to not be questioned. It will be questioned. I've even had the people in my family having to tackle me or leave TB Joshua alone. I said, "What is your own? Are you TB Joshua?" I let TB Joshua come back and say, "Oh, leave me alone." But so long there are questions to be answered, people would have to continue to ask questions. And it does not mean that we are insensitive. It does not mean that we don't share in the loss that
So I
humanity
guess.
or mankind has suffered through this. No.
So I guess the question would be, what would be the benefit of turning him in his grave to come and answer to this? Or is that a thing, or is there a different? I mean, like, how would you? What is the benefit? What's the upside of talking about this right now
Well,
when he's no longer here?
the benefit, the answer, the benefit, the answer, because the Bible said about Onesimus, let he who is still stealing, steal no more. If you are doing evil, if you know that you have contributed to what Nigeria has become, this is a guiding light to how we must stop evil and build a better society, even in terms of how we relate with ours. This is what this is about: improving our brand, making sure that we evolve into better men and women. This is what this is about. Nobody is going to, what can they do in the grave? What can you and I do? Nothing. Other than making sure when these stories are told, you have read stories of falling empires, how individual great men, emperors, Alexander the Great, how they died. Their impact. Why do we read about them? It's because we must learn one or two things
We
from
must
history.
learn.
That is
Yes.
the essence, not a futile effort. No, it is not a futile effort. It leads somewhere. And that is making sure we improve our brand as mankind.
Absolutely, 100%. Anyway, let me
Yeah.
ask you, the audience, as you're watching this, we want to get your opinions. We want your thoughts on this. What do you think? What are your thoughts? Is this a useless effort? Why is TB Joshua being questioned even after his passing? A lot of people say, why now? Do you ask the same question? If you have the answer to the why now, maybe you can drop that in the comment area too. We do have a couple more stories to cover. We'll be back in about 20 seconds.